So today we are going to go over the fighter class. Now that is going to be the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter. So the X-Wing, out of all of these, it's going to be the balanced one. It's the combination of the Y-Wing and the A-Wing. You got the A-Wing speed, able to do damage in dogfight, and you got the Y-Wing's tankiness, and able to do damage to capital ships. Now the X-Wing is the type if you want to do everything. Like I said, it's the balanced board. It's the perfect ship. You're going to be able to dogfight, win, and then go on to their capital ship and take out some subsystems. And here is going to be the best build for the fighter class. Now, it's going to be a little different between the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter, and that's just because you do not have the shields on the TIE Fighters. All Empire ships, they do not have any shields, but they're going to be buffed in other ways, like in speed and then hull strength. So, back to the X-Wing. Best laser cannon. For me, it's going to be the standard laser cannon. Now, this is going to be the balance out of all of these. It's the regular one. It's probably the easiest to use. Now, there is these 4 regular ones, and then there's this ion one. Personally, for me, ion weapons are just not it, because when I'm in-game, my shields usually get melted pretty quickly, and then I use my hull to survive the majority of the time. And if people are using ion weapons, it's only going to be super effective until they get those shields down. And then they're not going to be able to do as much hull damage. So I don't see them as effective. Your best bet is going to be these laser cannons. Now, if you play a lot of FPSs and you love using burst, then burst might be the laser cannon for you. This is because for this weapon to be effective, you have to hit all 3 of your shots. All 3 of those shots have to land, and then you start doing some big damage. But if you miss 2 and only hit 1, then it's not going to be worth it, and you just stick to this. Now, they have this guided burst cannon. Basically, that's just your machine gun. Personally, I like to be a little more accurate. This is a little more accurate, does a little more damage than the guided burst cannon. And then you just got the Zerka burst cannon. Now, this one has a little bit more damage, but like I said, you're going to have to hit your shots for those burst weapons. And if you only hit 1, it's not going to be the same damage output. So, you should go with the standard laser cannon. Now, moving on to your auxiliary parts. Now, the astromech repair has been crucial, absolutely crucial for surviving to me. When I make runs on capital ships, or when I'm playing chicken with the other guy, and we're going at each other in our starfighters, and I hit that repair button, it will keep me alive. It is crucial that you have this astromech repair. Now, moving on to your missiles, and then you have this assault shield. Now, assault shield is going to be good in some situations. Going for an attack run on a capital ship, you equip that, shift your shields to the front, boom, you're not going to take any damage. But this shield is only going to be useful in certain situations. So personally, I don't include it because I like to put my X-Wing in lots of different situations so it could be more versatile. Now, you're going to have these 5 different missiles. This concussion missile, it has 6 of them. You could use this missile dogfighting and for damage on capital ships. It's really good. Now, the proton torpedo, you're not going to be able to use as effectively on starfighters. This is because once you shoot it, it is very slow. But against capital ships, it doesn't matter how slow it is. That capital ship is not going anywhere. So, if you choose to equip the proton torpedo, do not waste it on starfighters. Wait and use it for capital ships, frigates, and the corvette objectives. Now, these 2 ion missiles. If I am playing with a friend and we're stacking, one of us is going to use this ion missile. And this is because it is going to disable the starfighter when it hits. And that means it's just going to be standing still in the air, just with arms wide open, waiting for all that damage. Once this missile hit, it's going to be extremely vulnerable. So what you could do is you and your friend, who would ideally have the concussion missile, you would hit the ion missile, and then you would both focus everything you have. Just output all the damage you can on that ship while it's vulnerable. because it will be a sitting duck. Now, you also have this barrage rocket. This is going to be very good for taking down enemy starfighters and dogfighting, but it's not going to be as effective for capital ships. So, the best one where you could get an equal opportunity is going to be your concussion missile. And then remember, the repair droid, it saves you so many times. Now, your countermeasures. This is missiles coming behind you. You're trying to dodge it. You can't shake it. It's about to hit you. You hit the countermeasure button. Alright, there's going to be 3 different countermeasures. And the Seeker Warheads is going to be your best bet here for protecting yourselves. Now, the Sensor Jammer could be a pretty good argument, but you can only use it once. Now, if you use this, no one's going to be able to lock onto you for a decent amount of time, but you can only use it once. So to really make this effective, you have to use it and then immediately go for a resupply. Or you can have a friend on a support ship immediately resupply you after you use it. And now for the particle burst, this is only effective if the rocket is coming straight behind you. You're going to have to drop this and stay in a straight line so that the missile continues to follow you in a straight line so it hits this cloud. Now, when you're going straight, this is going to make you extremely vulnerable to enemy laser cannon fire. The Seeker Warhead is going to be your best bet. It will hit the missile no matter what. The hole in the shield, you have the regular standard, which is a good balance. It's not going to have any bonuses, but not any drawbacks either. So for me personally, I like to do a combo wombo deal. I like to use this fabric dampener hole. Now this is going to decrease your health just a little bit, but it's going to heavily increase the amount of time it takes for enemies to lock onto you so they can fire their missile. And then we go to the shields. I'm going to take more damage from missiles, but I take less damage from laser cannon fire. And this is an incredibly good combo, because since the lock time is going to be so high, it's going to take a significant amount of time for them to be able to fire a missile at me. Therefore, the only certain way to do damage on me is going to shoot their laser cannon or their primary damage, which, thanks to the shield component, is going to be reduced by 25%. And the drawback on the shield shouldn't affect you because since it takes so long to lock on, they're not going to be able to fire the missile. So the drawback will never be in effect. And plus you add in the 4 countermeasures you have, you should never get hit by a missile. Now, for the engine, there's a lot of different types, but for me, I want to keep my ship balanced. I want to be able to draw a little bit of that speed when I'm making hit and runs and trying to get away from the enemy. Regular, standard engine is going to be the best one. In conclusion, you got that primary weapon, the standard laser cannon. Then for your auxiliaries, you got the repair droid and the concussion missile. Countermeasures, you got those Seeker Warheads. And then, of course, the combo wombo of the hull and the shields. And then just a regular engine. Now, let's head on over to the TIE Fighter. Like I said, it's going to be a little different just because the Imperial ships do not have any shields. But that might get you thinking, okay, the New Republic ships are going to be better than the Imperial. Not necessarily. For example, the A-Wing has 500 max hull and a speed of 160, I believe. Now this has max hull of 775 and a max speed of 170. So it's a little tankier and a little faster. So, since the Imperial ships get buffed in the other categories a little bit, it evens the playing field when it comes to Empire and New Republic ships. Now, let's get into the TIE Fighter. For me, personally, I don't have my TIE Fighter upgraded right now because I am maining the New Republic faction. And I also suggest that you main a faction. This is extremely important. And this is because I unlocked the dampener hull on my X-Wing, it did not unlock for the TIE Fighter. This means if you want to max out the ship and buy all the best components, you're probably only be able to do it on one ship. And if you want to use other classes, like the bomber or intercept, you're not going to have enough of these boxes to make the Empire ships and the New Republic ships good. You're only going to have enough for one faction. So for me, I'm maining the New Republic faction. But that is just personal preference. I just am maining the New Republic because I personally like the look and the feel of the X-Wing better than the TIE Fighter. Now, like I said, the fighter class are basically the same except of that small difference of the shields. So you got to keep the same laser cannon, you got to keep the repair system, you got to keep the concussion missile, and the secret warheads. Now, unfortunately, you can't do that combo wombo that you did with the hull and the shields like the X-Wing. You're going to have to figure out, okay, look at the stats, what's it good for? Okay, it's more tanky than the X-Wing. Okay, can we increase that? Or, oh, I want to make it a little faster so I can outrun the X-Wings. You got to think about what is the best option here. So since you can't do that combo wombo, the dampener hull should not be your choice. And the reinforced hull, in this game, speed is key. You don't know how many times someone's been falling back and I'm trying to shoot them down. They switch to speed, hit that boost, and they're out of my range, and there's nothing I can do about it. So speed is key. You do not want the reinforced hull. You just got to go with the standard one. You want the standard hull. Now, the engine. When I play Star Wars Squadrons, I equally use acceleration, the max speed, and the maneuverability. I don't want to hamper any of those abilities, even if I get to buff one of them. So for me, you got to keep the regular one and keep all those equal. Now, in conclusion, for the TIE Fighter, you're going to want everything the same as the X-Wing, except you don't have that shield component, so leave the hull the same standard laser cannon, repair system, concussion missile, secret warheads, standard. That is going to be my fighter builds for the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter. But there is one thing I have to touch on. There are many components for this fighter class. The fighter class is the class that has the most components. So what I'm about to say is even more important. Star Wars Squadrons has so many different components and so many different combinations you could use to modify your starfighter. This game is incredibly relying on how you play individually. What might be logistically and stat-wise the best build might not work for you. What might work for you is statistically the worst build. This is my personal best build, but that does not mean it's going to work for you. You have to get in game and see what works. And now I'm not sure if they are going to add more components, but if they do, you got to try those out, see how it's going. Sense what is good for you in your play style. This is my best build. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and click that notification button so you don't miss the next few videos. I'm going to be putting out a bomber video, an interceptor video, and a support video. So you do not want to miss that if you're going to main one of these other classes. Also, I also stream on Twitch. So same name, go over Twitch, type the same name in, slap a follow. I stream, I'm going to be playing a ton of this game. We're going to rank super high. You do not want to miss this top tier gameplay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a fantastic day. I will see you in the next one.